I did see some sunshine yesterday. Oh, for a few minutes in the afternoon, the golden hour, about 5 o'clock. So we begin on the floor in constructive rest posture. And when we arrive here, we just let our body melt into the mat. And then, as always, we notice our breath. And just notice the rhythm and the pace of breath as we begin our practice. Notice the depth at which the breath naturally wants to move in your body. Maybe it's the low belly, maybe it's just at the collarbones. We're noticing our own natural signature breath. And we don't have to change it in any way. As we prepare to move, we're going to curve our fingers toward the mat. Maybe the palms rest comfortably down on the mat, or maybe it's just pinky side finger. This prepares the nervous system to know that we're going to move when our palm starts moving down toward the mat. That's a signal that we're going to be moving. Don't you love that? We'll begin with our arch and flattening. So we're going to lift that low back, and then we flatten. We're lifting at the waist, and then we flatten. We find the inhale and the exhale. And the inhale as we arch. And the exhale as we flatten. Just rocking up and down ever so gently. Saying good morning to our spine. Pausing on the in-breath, arch. On the exhale, we're going to flatten and draw the right leg into the heart. Give it a nice hug. Release the left arm to open as we draw the right leg to the right side using the right hand. We're going to come back to center. We're going to grab the outside of the leg with the left hand, release the right. Come back to center. Extend the leg to the sky. Press the heel toward the ceiling. Then bend the knee. Release the foot. Pausing here. Notice the right side, notice the left side. Might feel a little lopsided, so we're going to begin with the arch on the inhale. And on the exhale, we flatten and lift the left leg. We bring it in for a nice hug. Then we release the right arm and open the left leg to the left side. We're going to breathe it back into center. Take the right hand to the outside of the left knee and draw it across the body, any amount. Breathe it back to center. On the next inhale, extend the leg. Press the heel toward the ceiling. And on the exhale, bend the knee and return it to the mat. We're going to do that again. So we arch on the inhale, flatten the back on the exhale, draw the knee in. We begin with a hug. This is an exhale. The inhale, release the left arm, open to the right. On the exhale, we take the leg across the body, release the right hand, use the left to draw. Breathe into center. On the next inhale, extend the leg. And on the exhale, bend the knee, release the foot to the floor. Find an inhale and arch the low back. On the exhale, we flatten and draw the left leg in. The inhale, we open to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale to cross the body. Inhale to center. And on the next exhale, on the next inhale, extend the foot to the sky. And the exhale, we release the foot to the mat. Walk the feet out as wide as the mat. Windshield wiper to the right side, pause. Feel the stretch, perhaps in the hip flexor, the inner thigh, the top of the thigh. A lot of action here. Gently roll back to center. Switch sides. Let that right leg be heavy, like it's collaborating with gravity to really draw the knee down toward the mat to find that nice hip flexor stretch. Then we're going to come back to center. Rock gently right and left while we move our feet back toward hip width or sits bone width apart. We'll be back in constructive rest. Melt. We're going to take the left hand under the head. We're going to bring the right hand next to the right leg. We're going to do arch and curl. So we begin with the inhale. We arch the low back. On the exhale, we flatten the back, lift the knee in, draw it a little bit toward the center line of the body. Then using the hand, we're going to take the elbow toward the knee. We're looking for nice action in the rib cage. So we're turning the rib cage. This shouldn't bother the neck at all. Come back to center and release. So if the neck gets tweaked by this, what that means is I'm using my head to turn instead of turning in my torso. Let's try that again. Arch, same leg. And then flatten, draw that leg up and in, lift and twist. Come back to center, release, breathe here. On the inhale, we arch, and on the exhale, we flatten. Leg draws in. We're opening the diagonal from the shoulder to the hip joint. Release the hand, pause for a moment. And now we're going to take the right hand under the head. That left arm comes next to the left leg. Breathe into arch. Exhale and flatten as we draw the knee up, in, and take that twist. Come back to center and release to the mat. Breathe in and arch. Breathe out and flatten. We're looking for a nice twist, waist to shoulder. So this is not about touching the knee with the elbow. This is about softening through the rib side on the right side body. Breathe in to arch. And one more time, breathe out to flatten. Draw that leg in, cross the body, and then come back to center and allow yourself to notice the sensation. We're going to take both hands behind the head now. We're going to arch the low back. And then we flatten as we draw the head up. We're using the hands to lift the head. The elbows come toward each other. And then they release back to the mat. So while we're doing a version of sit-up, pay attention to what's happening between the shoulder blades. We arch on the inhale. We flatten on the exhale, and we lift our head using the hands, not the neck. Elbows come toward each other. Notice what's happening between the shoulder blades, and then we release, and the elbows go wide. We're going to do that one more time. Arch and flatten and lift the head. Bring the elbows toward each other. And then return to the mat, release the hands. Pause and notice. What you notice? What do you notice, and where do you notice it? We're fine-tuning our interoception, our ability to sense our way into the body. Now, won't you join me as we float our arms toward the ceiling? Palms are facing each other. Then we're going to clasp opposite elbows. We're taking it to the right. Come back to center. Take it to the left. Back to center. So we're just going right and left, and we're noticing how the shoulder blades engage here. How the space between the shoulders might feel a little tender. We're going to do some exploration in that area today. The next time we're back at center, we're going to circle the arms so the arms come down toward the diaphragm, toward the solar plexus. Then they circle to the left. Maybe they come above the head. Maybe they come to the forehead. And they go to the right. And if any of this bothers anything, make the circle smaller. We're just doing soft, gentle, slow movements here. The next time you're on one side or the other, switch direction. And we're breathing. And we're trying to make this a circle. And then we're going to release the arms, come back to constructive rest. We're going to make our way to seated now. We're going to come to a Sukhasana or Baddha Konasana. You can roll to one side, push yourself up, or cross the ankles and roll on up. So we're coming into Sukhasana, or soles of the feet together. We're working the space between the shoulder blades today. That's a big focus. We're going to do it with a twist now. I'm going to reach underneath and lift the gift so my sits bones are resting more firmly on the floor. Beginning with the left hand, I'm going to take it across to the right, outside of the right knee, lift to the heart. And then we come back to center. On the exhale, we twist. And the inhale is center. Exhale is twist. Inhale to center. Exhale to twist. Inhale to center. This time we're going to pause and hold. So breathe in and make that twist. Now, when we get into this twist, anchor the left side of the pelvis. See if we can press down a little bit in the left hip joint. Lift the heart, keep the breath moving. So while we're holding the posture, we are not holding our breath. On the next inhale, we're coming back to center. Hold at the knees, lift the heart, breathe in, and on the next exhale, we're taking the twist to the left side. So when we arrive here, we're pressing a little bit into the right hip toward the floor. The heart is lifting, the head is turned. We're gently resting on the back hand, not too strongly. We're using our abdominals here, and we're feeling the space between the shoulder blades. Breath moves evenly in and out. Maybe not evenly, but smoothly. Yeah, that's a better term. On the next inhale, we come back to center. And we're going to come on to hands and knees. We're going to build our sunbird here, also known as pointer dog. We're going to begin by extending the right leg long. Turn the toes under, press through the heel. Now we're going to lift that leg and we're going to bring it hip height. And we're going to see if we can keep our pelvis level. So we're not opening the hip, we're keeping the pelvis level. That works the core. Now we're pausing. We're going to walk that left hand forward. See how our balance is. If we'd like to do a little bit more, we're going to lift that left hand, thumb to sky. We're breathing here and we're keeping our pelvis level. There's a lot of work happening from the top to the toes. And then release hand and knee. Wag the tail a little bit. Circle the right wrist. And then we come back to our hands and knees. We're going to extend that left leg long. We're pressing through the heel. And then we're going to lift. And we're going to see if we can keep our pelvis level. So imagine there's a little pinky ball right here in the low back, and we're trying to keep it on the low back. When we're in person, we're going to do that. We'll get the pinky balls out and we'll do this. Now we're going to walk the right hand forward. That may be enough. Maybe you'd like a little more. Thumb to sky. We're building a sunbird here and we're breathing. See if we can keep that pelvis level. One more breath. And then we release to the mat. We're going to sink our heels toward our hips any amount. Bring the forehead to rest on a stacked fist, on a block, or on the floor. And now we're going to come back up onto hands and knees. We're going to do down dog. To do this, we're walking the hands just a little bit so the wrist crease is just a little ahead of the shoulder. We've moved our fingers into starfish so they're really wide. And maybe the hands turn just a little bit out. So we've got a really firm base here. So when I mean turn out, the right hand moves 1/4 of an inch to the right, left hand 1/4 inch to the left. We're going to draw the creases of the elbows forward, turn the toes under. We're going to come up into a down dog with bent knees. So we turn the toes under, lift the sits bones to the sky. We're pausing here to see if we can feel our way into the upper back. Can we soften between the shoulder blades? So this is less about the legs, more about what's happening between the shoulder blades. Let the head relax, yes and no. Shake it, yes and no. And then we're going to slowly bring our hands and feet toward each other. We're in the bottom of a forward fold. Bend the knees as needed to touch the floor. We're going to rise up through chair. So we come to sit like we're sitting in the chair. We're drawing our arms up, shoulder height. We're going to press into the feet to bring us up. The arms come up, 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 float down, and we are in mountain. I'm going to shake it out just a little bit, circle the wrists, come up and down on the toes. Whew. And then we pause. So we're going to do some sun sweeps now. We're going to begin by doing dynamic or flowing sun sweeps, and then we're coming to static holds. So a sun sweep begins with the palms open. On the in-breath, the arms rise. And on the exhale, float down. So now we're breathing with this, breathing in and out. We're synchronizing the action with our breath. And this time when we rise, we're going to pause and hold this. Now, if having the arms bracketing your head is just a little too much, you can always move your arms away from vertical. That's okay. We're in mountain, and so we're feeling our way into our feet. So lift the right heel and sink it. We're keeping the arms up. Lift the left heel and sink it. Lift the right toes, rocking back, and then release. Lift the left toes, rocking back, and then releasing. And now the arms float down. That's a lot of work for the shoulders and the arms. Shrugging up, back and down, up, back and down, up, back and down. Pause here in mountain, feeling the stability in the feet and noticing what's happening between the shoulder blades. Lifting the right shoulder up, 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 and then release. Left shoulder up, 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 and release. Do a little bit of a figure 8, maybe. Right and left, left and right. And then pause. We're going to float the arms up again. Maybe we interlace the fingers and create steeple hands. If this is too challenging on the shoulders, the arms can just be shoulder width or maybe even lower. We're going to do a crescent moon posture. So this is a tip to the right or to the left. Let's start that way. Breathe into center, to the right, the center, to the left. That's the exhale. The inhale is center. The exhale is the tip. Breathe into center and exhale. Come back to center. And one more time. Come back to center. We're keeping our arms up. And now we're going to hold this posture as we go to the left. Keep those hands engaged like the fingers are reaching. The fingers are 10 feet long. Feel the side body expand. Notice the shoulder blades here. Keep the head forward, or maybe we look up if the neck allows. Coming to center on the next inhale. And the next exhale takes us now to the right side. Again, we're extending the hands, reaching through the hands, pointing through the index fingers. If we're steepled, we're breathing here. The next inhale takes us to center. The arms slowly float down. We're going to shake it out. Shake in the knees, bounce a little bit in the knees. And we pause. So right about now, the heart area in the front and the back, which is between more or less the shoulder blades, probably feels like there's a lot of energy. So let's keep moving with this. We're going to extend the right arm. I'm taking my feet a little wider than my hips, so I have a nice wide balanced stance. I'm going to take my left arm out. I'm going to drop the shoulder forward. I'm going to take the elbow crease down and my hand is going to flip up. We're going to pulse here 8 times. 4, 3, 2, 1. To release this, shoulder comes back first elbow crease next, wrist, and then the palm is up. Sweep it up to the sky, cross the body, and release. Let's go to the right side. Shoulder first, elbow crease turns down, and the wrist is going to naturally turn up with the palm. We're doing 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. To reverse this, shoulder goes back first, elbow crease comes forward, then the wrist and the palm turn up, sweep up, cross the body, shake, just. Let's do both arms now. Palms start turned up. We're going to take the shoulders forward. The elbow creases come forward, then they turn down, which turns the palm down, which turns the wrist down, which turns the palm up. And we go 8, 7, 6, 5. Keep the breath moving. 2, 1. To come out of this, shoulder, elbow crease, palm up, above the head, hands to heart center. Release. We're going to sweep the left arm across the body for a hug. I'm holding on to the back of my neck with my arm. Then we're going to float this up, touch the back of the body. Draw this arm a little closer to the ear. Then that arm goes vertical. I'm holding on to this arm with my opposite arm, and I'm going to just circle, circle. I'm keeping my pelvis pretty stable. What I'm circling is going to be the space between the shoulders and the rib cage. Switch direction of the circle. And you can make it a small, soft, slow movement. And then we're going to release that arm. Pause for a moment. Shake a little bit. Let's do those stretches on this side now. Coming across the body, giving ourselves a really nice hug here. Breathe. One more big, beautiful breath. And then we're going to float this arm up for this little tricep stretch. We're holding on to the elbow. Breathe here. And now we're going to extend that arm toward the ceiling. We're going to hold on with the other hand. I'm getting a grip on the back side, and then I'm going to circle. The rib cage is moving, the shoulder blades are moving. I'm making this a little smaller on this side. I notice on the other side I have more mobility than this side. That's an interesting exploration. Switch directions. It's always interesting to find what has more mobility, what side. Then we're going to release everything, shake it out. And we're going to make our way onto the floor, and we're going to do that through downward facing dog. We're going to do a bent leg down dog, and we're going to focus on seeing if we can sense our way into the space between the shoulder blades and really let go there. So, well, before we go to down dog, just take the shoulder blades and draw them together and see if there's just a little bit of a concave curve between the shoulder blades. We're looking for something maybe not that exaggerated, but that's going to take the pressure out of the space between the shoulder blades. A lot of us have this convex action going on, so we're looking to make that a little softer. We come to the top of the mat. We sweep the arms up. On the exhale, we're going to fold, bend the knees as needed to touch the floor. Let's do a half lift here. Legs straight, arms to shin. On the exhale, we fold and we step or hop back into down dog. When we get to down dog, let's bend our knees here so that we can really allow ourselves to pay attention to the space between the shoulder blades. We noticed this when we did our first down dog, so we're exploring to see if there's any more awareness, motor sensory awareness between the shoulder blades. Now shake the head yes and no. And then slowly lower the knees to the mat. We're going to come back into constructive rest posture. So come on over onto the back. And we're going to just allow our body to soften into the mat here. And we're noticing the sensation between the shoulder blades here. Is there any movement that we could do that would make the body, our body, the back of our body feel maybe 10% more softened or relaxed? Do we need to do a few more arches and flattenings? Do we need to rock right and left or draw the knees in? Do a check-in with your body and ask, what action right now would make my practice feel more satisfying? What would bring my body a greater sense of ease? Then do that thing, whatever that is. And wherever you are in your private practice, bring that to completion. And let's enter our time of Shavasana. So maybe it's constructive rest, or maybe the legs are long with the feet falling open. With the hands, we turn them palms up. This is a resting posture for the body. Palms down means let's go. Palms up means let go. Reconnect with your breath. And then simply allow yourself to be. Today's reading is from Thich Nhat Hanh. You have to realize that happiness is not something you find at the end of the road. You have to understand that it is here now. Bring the edges of your mouth up a little bit, a gentle smile, an inward smile, a gratitude for the body today, for all of the work it does to keep us moving. Wiggling the fingers and the toes. Then gently making our way to one side, pause for breath. And then making our way to seated. Won't you join me as we open our arms wide? We gather all the blessings that already exist, and in appreciation and gratitude, draw them into our hearts. And together we all say, Namaste.